illusionist magic of the holidays. A Grinch taking off with a cartload of Christmas.
And it's not 25, it's 26 past the hour. I don't want to hear this.
Police in Brandon, about 200 kilometers west of Winnipeg, BC. A man loaded up a shopping cart with about a dozen tabletop-sized Christmas trees and then left the trees on random properties, creating a bit of a trail for police to follow. Luckily, all the trees were returned to the store. A 33-year-old man police described as being in a state of extreme intoxication has been jailed to sober up a bit.
You're going to punish him for stealing Christmas trees on Christmas and giving them to people? Seriously? I think the stores are great.
Portion of 680 News brought today by the Kellogg
You know what these is for, right? You know what these is for, right?
We're live to the Business Center now with Chris McCusker. Chris?
Shares in Peloton, Steve, taking a beating right now. That stock is down 6.4% to $32.53. Now, short sellers, Citron Research says it sees the stock falling to $5 a share in 2020, citing increasing competition. Another stock note today, shares in Canadian yoga pants maker Lululemon, which only trade in the U.S., also in the red. So that stock is down about 0.5%. $229.61. We told you yesterday the COO is leaving. Now, as far as markets go, they've kind of been all over the place. No big moves,
fucking
though.
buy
A Fed meeting is underway in the U.S.
Lululemon yoga pants. I don't think you deserve money. You think you get ripped off.
Year. As well, Chinese officials expecting a delay on that latest round of tariffs, which are scheduled to go into effect on Sunday, although a White House official, Larry Kudlow, says those tariffs are still on the table. Markets kind of shrugging at this. The Dow is up by 2, the S&P up by a point, and the NASDAQ higher by 11. On Bay Street, the TSX right now up by a single point, 60,952. A bit of a lift coming from the gold stocks. Gold is up $3, $14.67. Oil is higher by 15 cents, 59.16. Canadian dollar really hasn't moved much today. Right now, it's $15. 175.57 cents US.
Make the
We've been telling you in our news, the new NAFTA almost complete, although this was widely expected. So again, the Canadian dollar sort of shrugging at this too. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Unlock your potential. Let the Kellogg Schulich Executive MBA at York University take your career to the next level.
Don't worry, we're going to get to everything. Don't worry.
Over 40 specialized elective courses and a flexible 18-month program. See why the Financial Times of London and The Economist continue to rank the Kellogg Schulich EMBA the #1 in Canada.
EMBA.
Secure your spot now. Call 416-736-5486.
I want an IMBA.
5486. That's 416-736-5486.
Everyone is talking about the hit musical sensation Come From Away. It's a true story. Thousands of people stranded in a small town in Newfoundland on 9/11, and the locals, they opened up their homes.
I want to hear some Newfie singing. Hey, bye.
The resilience, the joy reminds us all what it is to be human. Come From Away, the perfect gift for the holidays. Get tickets at Mervish.com.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by Salvation Army. If you're looking for a last-minute gift idea, why not give the gift of hope to your family and friends? Visit salvationarmy.ca/gifts of hope. Together, we're making a world of difference.
In Vancouver, some rain and 7 degrees in the nation's capital. Mainly sunny and 6 right now in downtown Toronto.
Negative.
It's overcast and 2 degrees.
No. You said it would be -3 by.
Show editor Brittany Dooley is our digital editor. Amber LeBlanc, she's our news director. 680 News Time, 1:30.
It's 2 degrees without the wind, but there's wind, so.
In Toronto, this is 680 News.
Here are Sarah Barrett and Steve Roberts. Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, December 10th.
Good afternoon. Here's what's making news this hour.
Donald Trump becomes only the 4th U.S. president to face impeachment. Democrats accusing him of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
Good Samaritans helped to save the life of a senior stabbing victim in Scarborough.
What?
Had a wound in her stomach, and we could see blood out of her head as well.
Toronto police praising their heroic action.
Yeah, because you faggots won't come do it.
A 27-year-old woman was reported missing before she was killed by a 35-year-old man who then took his own life. Their bodies found in a house near Torbram and Beauvert in Brampton.
Wait, she was reported missing when she was in the house?
Still, Education Minister Stephen Lecce is
People don't
once
make no
again
sense.
imploring some of Ontario's public high school teachers to not walk off the job for a one-day strike tomorrow.
The Leafs open a West Coast road trip.
There's
in
a school all locked
Vancouver
down
tonight.
right
The
now.
Dallas Stars have dismissed head coach Jim Montgomery for unprofessional conduct. Sports at 45.
Arrows pointing up on Bay and Wall Street.
Professional, what's he do? He plays a game. How fucking professional do you expect him to be?
Weird downgrade for Netflix. Business at 56.
You can put on makeup and weird shit and fucking do that Dennis Rodman thing. You'd be able to do anything in the fucking sports, man.
This report is brought to you by Rogers Wireless. Thanks to traffic spotters for the updates. Westbound on the 401 approaching Pure Ontario on the express, the right lane is blocked, and that's because a truck has gone into the ditch.
When I clicked off last night, I swear, they changed the weather report and they found a ladder in the road, bro. I'm gonna start taking bets. You guess ladder, they pull up ladder, you win some. I just don't know what I'm gonna say.
401, that's still going from Winston Churchill to Pure Ontario. But across the city, it's not doing too badly. Just watch out for this pothole that was reported eastbound 401 approaching Leslie in the express in the right lane. And she was aware of it. And you'll find a lineup on the eastbound 401 ramp.
It's got to be
Markham
big
Road.
to get on the fucking traffic.
Southbound Markham Road approaching Progress, the right lane is closed. We also have problems in town at Steeles and Bathurst. Eastbound Steeles approaching Bathurst. The left lane and the center lane blocked with a crash, so it's backed up from New Westminster. And also just getting word about a fire investigation westbound on St. Clair. It's closed now from Via Italia to Lansdowne, so traffic is diverted onto Via Italia. Also, some
It's literally a 10-minute walk.
Rogers Road between Weston and Kiel. It's reduced to a single lane both ways. Back onto the
They
major
shut down
routes
my whole
eastbound on the
neighborhood,
Gardner.
eh?
That's filling in quickly from Spadina to Cherry. A slow go northbound DVP from Spanbridge up to York Mills. And a couple of ramp closures to keep in mind. No access to the northbound 400 from eastbound Teston. That ramp is closed for construction. Also, the West Mall and Evans Avenue ramp to the westbound QEW is shut down for construction. Right now, visit Rogers for exclusive in-store offers and a chance to win one of 9 Samsung grand prizes. Contest ends December 18th. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
A brief round of some snow the last couple of hours, and it seems to have dried up for the most part.
I've been outside, there's no snow.
Cold out there, but there's still some snow, pockets of snow on the radar. And as we move through the later half of the afternoon, likely getting into some steady flurries here in the GTA. Snow squall watches remain in effect through northern York region, Newmarket, as we've got warnings close by through the snow belt, and enough energy means that these squalls will definitely make an impact here through that northern edge of the GTA.
That's what I said yesterday. They're not going to admit it. Those snow squalls are going to come in.
Still some flurries in the forecast. We reached our guaranteed high early this morning, 10 degrees.
680 News Time, 1:33.
I don't believe it's 2 degrees.
Months in the making, and today it finally happened. U.S. House Democrats announcing 2 articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. Trump has responded via Twitter, of course, and he's not very happy.
680's Irene Preklik joining us live with his reaction and the next steps as we move forward. Irene?
Well, Steve, among the U.S. president's tweets, one in all capitals, it was in just 2 words. It was witch hunt. Something he's used to describe this many times before.
Yeah, but
U.S. House Intelligence
my name is spelled in all caps, the wickedest raw rap.
Hold Trump accountable.
And unlike President Trump, we understand that our duty first and foremost is to protect the Constitution and to protect the interests of the American people.
The American people should rise up, like right about now. If you was all watching right now, just wait for a signal and give it to you. You should do it now.
Kevin McCarthy says Democrats still can't get over the fact they lost the election.
We watched them introduce 2 articles of impeachment. To change the course of Congress, to take away due process for any point of where we are.
There will be a debate and vote on this, likely all happening before Christmas. Trump is the 4th U.S. president to face impeachment. Andrew Johnson the first in 1869, Bill Clinton the last in 1998. Reporting live.
Was that 98? Yeah, I remember that.
680 News
94, 96, 98. We're all fucked
up. An
up.
elderly woman is now fighting for her life after being stabbed multiple times this morning in Scarborough. 680's Mark Douglas is at the scene near Lawrence and Pharmacy and joins us live with the very latest on this investigation. Mark.
Well, Sarah, Toronto police got the call a bit before 9:30 this morning. A senior woman had been stabbed multiple times, but it was Good Samaritans who rushed over first to help save her life. Workers from a construction crew right next door and from a utility road crew just a few doors down.
Them boys didn't catch you, homeboy. Whoa.
When she ran from her house onto her front porch.
She was screaming. She was obviously in distress, shot, hurt. She had a wound in her stomach, and we could see blood out of her head as well.
And the workers used rags and towels to help stop her bleeding. This man restrained the man who has now been arrested by police.
Yes, thank you, brethren.
I just kept him pinned there while the police got on scene.
Toronto Police Constable.
Good, brethren. I owe you a split.
Standards for doing so much more than simply standing by.
You know, hats off to them, and it's people like that definitely make a difference in our society. And,
yeah, not the cops.
Help us as law enforcement to make quick work and quick action to this arrest.
Lee cannot confirm reports from neighbors that the suspect and the victim are husband and wife. Lee tells me the pending charges will begin with assault at a minimum. The victim is still listed in critical condition. If she dies, the charges will be upgraded accordingly. Reporting live from Eleanor Avenue in Scarborough, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time, 1:36. Breaking news from the West End. The high school in Brampton has been evacuated because of some sort of irritant being sprayed inside the school. Emergency crews got called to Castlebrook Secondary around 12:30 this afternoon. Now, the school is in the Gore Road and Castlemore area. Peel paramedics telling 680 News that they are treating people at the scene for what they are calling minor respiratory issues. The Peel District School Board says a spray was released inside the cafeteria, and they're now waiting for direction from first responders regarding when the school can reopen.
Peel Regional Homicide investigators have released more details about a now confirmed murder-suicide in Brampton. 680's Kevin Meisner has more from the scene near Torbram and Beauvert.
Peel police responding to the semi-detached home on Bighorn Crescent first found the body of a 35-year-old man inside. Homicide Inspector Martin already confirms the man took his own life after murdering a woman.
Further search of the residence by police resulted in them
because I made it look like they both killed each other.
Deceased. I can confirm that the two parties have been in an intimate relationship in the past.
Neighbors on this quiet street are shocked by the deaths.
Oh my God, this is very sad. This is really heartbroken. This is a very quiet neighborhood.
Inspector Ottaway also says the woman had been reported missing to Toronto police by a worried friend. Causes of death not being released at this time. On Bighorn Crescent near Torbram and Beauvert in Brampton, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News Time, 1:38. One day before some high school teachers stage another one-day strike, the Work to Rule campaign at provincial elementary schools has entered a new phase. Our Momin Qureshi down at Queen's Park today with the latest after another fiery question period.
Unless something dramatically changes today, at this time tomorrow, thousands of kids across the province will once again be missing a day of school, as some of the public high school teachers go on another one-day strike, with the TDSB the only board affected here in the GTA. During question period, NDP leader Andrea Horvath saying it doesn't have to be this way.
What steps is he willing to take to bring people to the table and solve this crisis?
There are no new contract talks scheduled, and the two sides haven't been at the bargaining table for several days. Education Minister Stephen Lecce is sticking to his guns.
What they should do is call off the strike. What OSSCF should do is stay at the table and invoke private mediation.
At Queen's Park, I'm Momin Qureshi.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we will take a look at city streets and find out where the price of gas is going.
680 News Time, 1:39.
Welcome to Valet by Park and Fly, the easiest and quickest way to park.
That's all you got for the top of the hour?
Check in and go. A real thing of beauty for travelers.
Stabbing, murder, suicide, school lockdown, construction work attacking a dude.
It's like telling your team no parties while you're
not really that interesting,
coming
is it?
home to a house that's cleaner than you left it. It's almost too surprising. Valet by Park and Fly, the easiest and quickest way to park happy. Plus, get an optional detailing while you're away. Visit parkandfly.ca for details.
City streets right now, traffic spotters reporting westbound St. Clair is closed from West Dufferin to Lansdowne. It's for a fire investigation. And eastbound Steeles is jammed approaching Bathurst because of a collision that is blocking the two left lanes. Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will not change at midnight. It'll hold at $1.15.9 a liter.
680 News Time, 1:40. 140.
This holiday, what if giving also felt like getting? At Indigo, Chapters, and Kohl's, we have incredible gifts that inspire moments. Fabulous books, toys, home decor, and everything else you need to give more magic. Visit us in-store or at indigo.ca.
Being an entrepreneur means always having ideas to grow my business. And when I turned to BDC to bring my ideas to life, they came up with solutions I hadn't even thought of.
At BDC, being the only bank exclusively devoted to entrepreneurs means investing ourselves 100% in our clients' projects. So when you turn to us to help grow your business, it's our turn to come up with ideas.
Go further with BDC. BDC. Financing, advising, smarts. This holiday, make shopping for the perfect gifts easy at indigo.ca. Simply shop online, then pick up in store at any of our locations across the country. For stress-free shopping and sure to please presents, go to indigo.ca.
On the wrong spot. Got a red dot on the end of the block.
News time, 141.
Time for traffic and weather together all the ones. Here's Gary Busquets. This report is brought to you by Peak Health Ontario. We have a new problem on the westbound 401 ramp to Victoria Park. The right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle, so watch out for that. Just a minor delay. Much heavier delays right now into Mississauga. There's a problem westbound 401 approaching here Ontario and the Express. The right lane is blocked by emergency crews. Apparently a truck's gone into the ditch. So the westbound 401 is really jammed now from Dixie to approaching here Ontario in the express lanes. The collector lanes are very lightly traveled through there, so stick with those.
Who's got the
If you're on
balls
the
to
eastbound
murder me?
401, expect
Currency
delays
never
from
worried.
Winston
We.
Churchill to here Ontario. A bit busy through Dixie and the collectors, but across the city, it's in great shape, except for this pothole that we've been hearing about eastbound 401 approaching Leslie in the express. It's affecting the right lane. MTO says they're going to fix that tonight. And expect a delay on the eastbound 401 ramp to Markham Road. That's because of construction. Southbound Markham Road approaching Progress. The right lane is closed. If you're planning on taking the northbound 400, a heads up, the eastbound Teston ramp to northbound 400, that's closed for construction. Another ramp closure to keep in mind, the West Mall and Evans Avenue ramp to the westbound QEW, that's shut down for construction. It's expected to reopen around 6 o'clock this evening. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, volume delays from about Spanbridge to north of Lawrence, and a slow go on the southbound 404 from south of Finch onto the 401 ramps. The southbound DVP is in great shape, and the westbound Gardner looks good. Eastbound on the Gardner, that's heavy from Spadina over to Cherry. Suffering from erectile dysfunction? Peak Health Ontario provides treatment without needles, drugs, or surgery. Visit peakhealthontario.com or call 416-912-9133. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Well, mostly cloudy and 0 at Pearson. Still a gusty wind out of the northwest, and we're not quite done with the flurries and snow squall activity here in the GTA. We'll continue seeing some active weather for the rest of this afternoon and through the evening. Overnight, lows near -6. We've got a chance of flurries through the day and night Wednesday, and it's cold tomorrow. Highs only near -5. We'll fall to lows near -9 Wednesday night. Your guaranteed high, we reached it early this morning, very balmy, 10 degrees.
680 News Time, 143.
And now the Scotia iTrade Market Minute. Live from the Business Center, here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Sarah, at the moment, the Dow is the lone holdout. It's down by 2. The S&P up by half a point. The NASDAQ higher by 11. The TSX up by, let's call it a point, 16,951. We really haven't seen any big moves. There is still a lot to come this week. There's a Fed meeting with an interest rate announcement tomorrow, though no change expected. U.S.-China trade still up in the air. And then we've got an election in Britain on Thursday. Gold right now by $3, $14.68. Oil is higher by 12 cents, $59.14. And the Canadian dollar up by 5/100, 75.58 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Direct invest with Scotia iTrade. Get up to $1,500 cash and $6.99 pricing, or up to 500 free equity trades. Details at scotiaitrade.com/winter20.
Keep on rocking the Casino Rama Resort with these great shows. Rocking the new year with Colin James on December 31st. Honeymoon Suite and Prism perform on February 28th. Chilliwack and Streetheart on March 13th. Melissa Etheridge, the Medicine Show tour is coming on April 17th.
To my window. Ontario man's drug trafficking case tossed over roadside strip search. That was literally just posted. A man found with a significant amount of cocaine and heroin has had his case thrown out after a 3-day trial because police strip searched him on the side of a highway and delayed his access to a lawyer. In Parkdale, in the early 90s, they did that to a woman, and that's why you're not allowed to do that anymore. So they know this. This is not some new thing. Oh, we're not allowed to strip search you, but they're not allowed to strip search you at all. I get strip searched every time because they're homos, and they fucking. I'm just going to read this, and then I'll tell you my story. In his decision, Ontario Superior Court Justice Kerry Boswell excluded incriminating evidence because officers violated why am I saying his name? Constitutional rights. I appreciate that police officers have dangerous jobs, Boswell wrote, which is irrelevant. But there were steps the police could have taken to ensure their safety short of pulling down Mr. Cave's pants at the roadside. No, you just want to look up his ass crack and stare at his dick, right? That's what they do to me. Court documents show Cave was arrested in November 2000. I just said his name, didn't I? November 2017 in Barrie, Ontario, when Detective Constable Jason Breeden, acting on information about a suspected drug trafficker, so whoever gave the information suspects him to be a drug trafficker. That's not evidence. Stopped the vehicle Cave was in. A police check turned up information that Cave was considered, quote, armed and dangerous, end quote, even though he had no criminal record and no outstanding charges. It tells them I'm white with a shaved head. I never, ever told anybody I was white. Even from a little kid, they called me that. I tell you to fuck off, man. You can ask around about my attitude. This is lots of things about me. Charges I actually pled guilty to don't appear. It says I've served time at jails and shit that I didn't serve time at. It says I've got some life. It says I've got some fucking weapons ban that don't exist. It says all sorts of shit. They say I owe them $2,000 in fines. They say all sorts of shit on their computer because it's just somebody enter. That's official now. Some idiot minimum wage data entry clerk that couldn't work as a CSR. At one point, Breeden noted a bulge in the crotch area of Cave's pants. Yeah, that would, that'd be a dude, eh? While the officer and suspect offered contradictory evidence about whether the subsequent search was consensual, they always say it was consensual, Breeden and another officer pulled down Cave's pants, but not his underwear. Well, that's irrelevant. To his thighs as he stood by the police vehicle. They found a sock containing cocaine tucked inside his boxer shorts. No, you allegedly found. You allegedly found. I don't believe you found that. I think you saw his dick and that's what you wanted. The officers testified, and it says they didn't pull down his underwear, but that's not a quote. This is, yeah, see, they're allowed to type this up as though it's fact just because it came out of the courthouse. The officers testified the search took only a few seconds and said Cave was never exposed to members of the public. Well, you were on the side of a road. How the fuck can you say that? In his analysis, Boswell found Cave's arrest legal and the search of the truck he was in justified. What? In addition, the judge said the bulge the officers observed in Cave's crotch area warranted further investigation for weapons or drugs. Oh, so if you have a big dick, that justifies searching you over and over. That's what I keep getting told. I didn't always run around talking about my dick. Apparently I have to because everybody stares at it, right? Every fucking cop has to put their hands on it and tell me, oh, that's got to be a gun. Well, you could call it a gun, buddy, but you're fucked up. Quote, where I have difficulty is the manner in which the search was conducted. The judge said, I am not satisfied that there were sufficiently exigent circumstances present to justify a roadside strip search. While the search of the handcuffed suspect was brief and involved male officers, which is worse, not better, who did not touch his private parts, oh, they're going to swear they didn't, Boswell nevertheless found it violated Cave's rights. I do not find that Mr. Cave consented to having his pants pulled down on the side of the road, Boswell wrote. The manner in which the search was conducted was not discreet. Now, see, when you do these things to us, we fucking kill the people that are the sex offenders in the situation. So you can swear up and down we consented and blah, blah, blah. Look, they didn't file a formal complaint and I never got charged. And you get found in the fucking woods with your head missing and you think I'm joking, eh? Fucking rapists and... You don't want to know the language I got for that. The manner in which the search was conducted was not discreet. Cave testified he felt intimidated and humiliated, and Boswell said he accepted the testimony. It's not up to you to accept the testimony of a sexual assault survivor. It's not up to you. The statement is real. This is what the training is you get when you take these courses. I know these people want to pretend I'm just some stupid person. If I say I'm a survivor, they want to say, oh, well, you don't really know the school side of it. It's like, no, I studied all this shit too. Oh, well, now you must be lying. I must be the liar. But the book says you're not supposed to call the victim a liar, or a victim for that matter. You see what I'm saying? They play it two ways to the middle, trying to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. You can go through the microfiche records and you will find a history in this city of social workers abusing kids. The Supreme Court has made it clear for 30 years, strip searches are highly intrusive and humiliating and need to be done carefully. Courts have since repeatedly stated the importance of ensuring such searches be carried out in maximum privacy. Boswell also found police further violated Cave's rights by delaying his access to a lawyer for about 90 minutes after the arrest. How come they can just refuse me my phone calls and that never comes up in my cases? Society's interest in the adjudication of this case on its merits must give way in this instance, Boswell wrote. Permitting the admission of the evidence seized from Mr. Cave, in light of the numerous charter breaches I have identified, would tend to bring the administration of justice into disrepute. End quote. And the comments, of course, are racist. Thank you. Which is odd. Robert Cave sounds like a white man's name, doesn't it? If I had to guess. I don't think he's Chinese. I don't think he's Jamaican. These Bati boys, they stare at my crotch while they're supposed to be watching to make sure I don't have nothing to fucking hurt them with. And then they try to make jokes about how small it is. It's like, buddy, like, first of all, my dick's not going to be hard with a bunch of dudes staring at it. And fucking... I still got more than what you got, you little white boy. Like, why are you even pretending? And I'm supposed to get insecure, and it's this really weird form of sexual abuse that they practice. Eh? Like, I don't know if I guess maybe that works on the white boys or so. I really don't fucking know. Eh? They're always like, oh, what happens to white boys in jail? I say, how the fuck would I know? Oh, you never been to jail? Like, yeah, so what? Oh, you got a criminal record? I'm like, no. What happens to white boys in jail? But I don't fucking know. You have to tell me that shit. I better pick up the phone before I drop it.
$1,000 in Audi event credit, now at AudiQueensway.ca. And now with the forecast, here's
I don't know a drug dealer in the world that carries his drugs in their shorts.
Right now at Pearson Airport, temps just continue to fall through the day today. After a couple of mild days, we're tapping back into seasonal wintry weather with scattered flurries and possible accumulating snow due to some snow squall activity in the Snowbelt region. We are under a watch in northern York and Newmarket. The rest of the GTA, not quite as intense, but that could change, and we're keeping an eye on the radar for you. Flurries through the overnight, -6. Chance of flurries and highs only near -5 for Wednesday. Flurries Wednesday night, and then we get back into some dry conditions for a few days. Thursday, sun and cloud near -2. The guaranteed high reached early this morning, 10 degrees.
This extended forecast is brought to you by The Illusionists, Magic of the Holidays, January 1st through 5th at Meridian Hall. Proud sponsor of Christmas news, gift ideas, festive events, and everything Christmas at 25 minutes past every hour on 680 News.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll have the latest on a stabbing attack in Scarborough that's left an elderly woman fighting for her life in hospital. Toronto police are thanking some good Samaritans who were on scene. They were able to help her by subduing the suspect and then used rags and towels to help stop the bleeding. 680 News Time, 1:54.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're dreaming of a white Christmas.
Actually, it's a green Christmas with Toro.
Green? I thought Toros were red.
They are, but now Toro's going green with their new and already popular battery-powered single-stage snowblowers.
I hear the Toro 39901 can clear up to a 12-car driveway.
And the Toro 39902 is even more powerful. Both are environmentally friendly and they're easy to store.
White Christmas, go green with a red Toro from Coy Brothers.
KOYBROS.com.
When you need to know.
Breaking news.
A strike by more than 50,000 education workers has been averted traffic. We have big problems northbound on the 400. All lanes have been blocked right now because of a vehicle fire. This first round of storms will pass through over the next hour, and then we'll likely see another couple of rounds, each one packing a punch and terms of rainfall?
What you need to know.
We're here.
This is 680 News.
This just into 680 News from Jersey City, New Jersey, where local police are dealing with an active shooting situation. We are hearing there may be multiple victims. Heavy gunfire can be heard in a video that's been posted to social media. Stick with 680 News for the very latest on this developing story. Up in 60 seconds, shares in Netflix take a hit. We'll get you all the details next. 680 News Time, 1:55.
At Rogers, get business-grade wireless solutions like iPhone XR 64 gig. Now $0 on a 3-year business share plan. Visit Rogers.com/plans for biz.
You can make more.
As a homeowner, you have built-up equity value in your home. With Capital Direct, equity equals flexibility for homeowners. Flexibility to finance your business, flexibility to renovate your home, or flexibility to pay off other things like property taxes. Call Capital Direct at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. .ca. 96% of existing Capital Direct's clients surveyed would recommend Capital Direct to family, friends, or colleagues.
At Rogers, get business-grade wireless solutions like iPhone XR 64 gig. Now $0 on a 3-year business share plan. Visit Rogers.com/plans for biz.
You can make more.
680 News Time, 1:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Sarah, ups and downs on markets. That's kind of the theme of the day, and no big moves. So the Dow right now is down by 9, the S&P up by 0.5 point, the Nasdaq higher by 6. There is still this big question around that new round of tariffs on China, slated to go into effect in 1 week. Plus, the last Fed meeting of the year is underway. Now, no change in interest rates is expected. Robert Kavzik is senior economist at BMO Capital Markets.
The employment report was probably case A in that the domestic economy is holding up, the consumer is holding up, the housing market's holding up, and really where the trade situation has had a big impact has been in manufacturing and business investment. But when you weight all of those components, the economy is still kind of cranking out growth around 1.5% to 2%. It's not great. It's slower than we've been used to, but it's probably enough to keep the Fed on hold.
Now, shares in Netflix got a rare downgrade today. Needham is anticipating as many as 4 million subscriber losses in 2020 amid increasing competition in the streaming market. We are also hearing today The Irishman has been watched in 26 million households in the first week. That's not doing much to help the stock. It's off by 2% to 96.31. The TSX higher by 4, 16,954. Shares in Synovus Energy right now up by 1.5% to 12.36. The oil company says it expects total production next year to increase 7% compared with its guidance for 2019. Oil is higher by 15 cents, 59.17. Gold up by $3, 14.68. And the Canadian dollar higher by 5.100, 75.58 cents US. No big move here, even on word the new NAFTA is nearing completion. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Okay, stop. For the best appliance deal ever, come into Gomez today. You'll save up to 25% on all Eco appliances. Yep, that's 25% off on top of manufacturer rebates.
That link's not even available to be seen on the screen. It's still loaded. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck about tenants. You now have multiple fucking hits from my device for tenants.
Gomez.com for details.
Fucking hell.
Here, professional dream coach, letting everyone at Bob's Deli know that Lotomax now has draws Tuesdays and Fridays. Edgar, what are you eating?
The Tuesday special.
And what would you get if you won Tuesday's Lotomax jackpot of an estimated $26 million?
Don't eat salad. Salad
on my own beach. Keep going. I fly everyone to my beach, and my personal chef will make us whatever we want. Yes! I'll dream what he's dreaming. Tuesday's Lotomax jackpot is an estimated $26 million. With draws Tuesdays and Fridays, you can dream to the max.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
Walmart is opening all checkouts from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday until Christmas. Save time on your holiday shop as you check out Walmart's unbeatable low prices. In Niagara Falls right now, some light snow and 1 degree. Mostly cloudy, -1 in Newmarket. Downtown Toronto, it is cloudy and 2 degrees. The News Watch never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 2 o'clock.
Where are you taking me to now? Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Bad weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Steve Roberts and Sarah Barrett.
Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, the 10th of December.
Good afternoon. Here's what's making news this hour.
Breaking news from New Jersey, where rapid gunfire can be heard in a Jersey City neighborhood.
What is
Police
rapid?
believe there may be a number of victims.
Good Samaritans to the rescue when a senior is stabbed in Scarborough.
Jump out and see what there's to do to help. No one wants to see a woman being attacked.
A senior male suspect is now under arrest.
Peel police now say the deaths of a man and woman in a home near Torbram and Beauvert in Brampton were a murder-suicide. The woman had been reported missing before she was killed.
An historic day in Washington as House Democrats announced 2 articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump.
Whirlwind of a day in Dallas. The Stars have fired head coach Jim Montgomery. Leafs and Canucks face off in Van City tonight. Sports at 15.
It's a mostly winning day on markets amid U.S.-China trade questions and as a Fed meeting begins and shares in HBC in the red after earnings. Business at 26.
What do you mean after
News time 2:01.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones, and with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports, here's Kerry Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Nikon Canada.
We take
Westbound
too
on the
many
401,
antibiotics.
ongoing
No shit.
problems just before Huron, Ontario in the Express. The right lane is blocked by emergency crews. Last we heard from traffic spotters, there was still a truck in the ditch. And the westbound 401 is jammed solid from Dixie to Huron, Ontario in the express lanes. You want to use the collectors through there because they are very lightly traveled. If you're heading eastbound on the 401, expect delays from just east of Winston Churchill all the way to Huron, Ontario. Slows again as you head through Dixie in the collectors. Then a little bit of a delay as well from Kipling to Weston, mainly in the Express. We have this pothole reported eastbound 401 approaching Leslie in the Express in the right lane, so be careful as you head through
How
that
big is
stretch.
this pothole?
Northbound 400, no access to that route from eastbound Teston. That ramp to the North 400 is closed for construction. If you're traveling the northbound 400 itself, it's moving well. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, looking at volume delays from Don Mills to north of Lawrence, and a slow go on the southbound 404 DVP from approaching Shepherd onto the 401 ramps. Westbound on the Gardner, that's filling in from approaching Rogers Center to west of Strawn. The westbound QEW, it's moving very well. Same goes for the eastbound side of the QEW, and the eastbound Gardner is just a little bit busy as you head into that construction zone from Jarvis to Cherry. Traveling off the highways, westbound Finch approaching Jane, all lanes are blocked with a collision. It's jammed from just west of Sentinel. Need gift ideas for the holidays? How about a Nikon DSLR camera or lenses? Right now, save up to $800 during the Capture the Savings event at your local Nikon authorized dealer. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Well, downtown Toronto, we're sitting at +1. Temps continue to fall. Widespread scattered snow flurries for the next couple of hours. It was a bit more active earlier in the afternoon, but we're going to continue with the trend of seeing some snow and some flurry activity as we move through the rest of this afternoon and early evening. Unfortunately, we have some snow squalls revving up through the snow belt, so if you're traveling north on that 400, you'll be seeing a bit more active weather, and west on that 401 as you pass through Milton towards Kitchener and Waterloo. Guelph will likely be seeing a bit more snowfall activity there. Overnight tonight, -6 with some flurries. We're sitting at 0 right now at Pearson. We hit your guaranteed high this morning, 10 degrees.
680 News Time 2:04.
Breaking news from Jersey City, New Jersey this afternoon. Local police say they are dealing with an active shooter situation this hour. We are hearing there may be multiple victims. Heavy gunfire can be heard in a video that has been posted to social media.
Several roads have been closed and schools in the area are on lockdown. New Jersey police tweeting, quote, "We need a lot of prayers right now for Jersey City officers. Keep all those involved in your thoughts." Stay with 680 News.
What's that got to do with stopping them from getting
You're
hurt?
listening to All News Radio. This is 680 News. A senior has been critically injured after being stabbed in a residential neighborhood in Scarborough today. 680's Mark Douglas joining us live from the Pharmacy and Lawrence area, where, Mark, we understand that Good Samaritans actually played a role in this case.
A very critical role, Steve. The 911 calls started pouring in just before 9:30 this morning. A senior woman had suffered multiple stab wounds, and several workers from the house under construction next door and from a utility crew also working here on Eleanor Avenue rushed over to help. They used rags trying to stop the woman's bleeding.
She had made it out to the porch, and she was on the porch keeled over, and one of the other gentlemen provided some first aid for her until the paramedics got here.
That man also held a senior male suspect on the ground until police could arrive. As for why they would ever get involved in such an obvious scene of violence,
I don't know what the thought process is. Some things just kind of jump out and see what there is to do to help the situation. No one wants to see a woman being attacked.
The Constable Alex Lee from Toronto Police updating her condition.
The female is still in critical condition. The male will be facing a criminal charge of aggravated assault. There could be a possibility that more charges could be laid.
Now, while Constable Lee is praising the workers for their fast actions and heroic efforts, he's also cautioning that there is always the chance in a situation like this that would-be heroes could become extra victims when a weapon is involved. And he's, again, praising these workers for what they did.
Right, you should let them run around with the weapon and just not do nothing. Fucking geniuses.
Reporting live from Eleanor Avenue.
22-minute response time.
680 News Time, 2:06. Peel Police have released more details after the bodies of a man and a woman were found inside a Brampton home near Beaufort and Torbram. Here's 680's Kevin Meisner.
Peel Police now confirm this was a murder-suicide. Homicide Inspector Martin Ottaway says police officers responding to this home on Bighorn Crescent found a 35-year-old man dead. A further search located the body of a 27-year-old woman.
I can confirm that the two parties had been in an intimate relationship in the past. The investigation to date has determined that the male deceased in this matter had murdered the female victim and then took his own life.
Neighbors on this quiet street are shocked by the circumstances.
We hate to hear about young people losing their life like that. It's very sad.
Police also say the woman had been reported missing to Toronto Police by a concerned friend on Bighorn Crescent near Torbram and Beaufort in Brampton. Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
Well, also in Brampton today, a high school has been evacuated after a spray was released inside the cafeteria. Castlebrook Secondary is in the Gore Road and Castlemore area. First responders initially got the call around 12:45 this afternoon. Now, 8 students were transported to hospital as a precaution for what Peel paramedics are calling minor respiratory issues. The school says
they did that to me on a psych ward. Filled up the fucking room with Windex and then brought me back in.
District School Board says its maintenance staff is now investigating.
To the U.S. now, where it is an historic day in Washington. 2 articles
maintenance
of
staff is literally the guy that unplugs toilets. He's not certified to do a test on anything.
As Democrats announcing
he doesn't know how to
and
contact
President Trump reacting fast to the news. 680's Irene Precklett joins us live with the very latest. Irene.
Sarah, there will be debate and a vote on these 2 charges, likely all happening before Christmas. It was history in the making with this announcement from the Judiciary Chair.
Charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors.
This is only the 4th time this has happened in American history. Adam Schiff, chair of the Intelligence Committee, says they did not take this move lightly.
But we have taken an oath to defend the Constitution. And unlike President Trump, we understand that our duty first and foremost is to protect the Constitution and to protect the interests of the American people.
Trump taking to Twitter with his usual comments on this, including that this is a witch hunt, also calling this political madness. Reporting live, Irene Precklett, 680 News.
On the way in 30 seconds, we'll have a check on city streets, and we'll let you know if there's a change for gas tonight.
680 News Time, 2:09.
Deck the walls with pizza, 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 za. Ordering, we love to treat ya. Pizza, pizza, za. With hot and rich pizza, before us, was nice and join that chorus.
Pizzas, 4 trays and a box of chocolate truffles for just $24.99. Happier holidays from Pizza Pizza.
9, 6, 7, 11, order pizza, pizza.ca.
And on city streets, traffic spotters are reporting westbound Finch is now closed approaching Jane because of a collision, so it is very heavy from west to Sentinel. And in Mississauga this afternoon, northbound Credit View now closed through the 401, and that is for long-term construction. Now the 680 News gas price update. Empro says price shouldn't change at midnight tonight. In fact, it should hold at about $1.15.9.
680 News Time, 2:10.
98 Degrees, live in concert, January 17th.
I don't have a problem with 98 degrees. It's this 90s R&B thing is just play it out in my fucking world, man. Going from a morning high of 10 to feeling like minus 10 for the afternoon. Overnight, it will feel like minus 13. That's a 23-degree difference. 23 fucking degrees. Holy fuck. Falling temperatures mean a big change for us today. No shit.
Roadside assistance across North America, plus great savings on shopping, dining, and more. Buy a gift membership by January 5th and get a $10 gift card. Details at CAAgift.com. CAA, making bad days good and good days better.
680 News Time, 2:11.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones. And with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports, Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Marquee Jewelers. Just got word from the MTO that problem westbound 401 approaching here, Ontario, and the Express has cleared. It's starting to get busy now across the city on the westbound 401 from Leslie to Avenue Road, alternately Express and Collectors. And then it is jammed into Mississauga from Dixie to here, Ontario in the Express lanes. Eastbound on the 401, that's backed up from east of Winston Churchill to here, Ontario. Slows again through Dixie in the Collectors. And it's filling in from Kipling to Weston, mainly in the Express lanes. Also watch out for a pothole eastbound 401 approaching Leslie in the Express. It was reported in the right lane. We've notified MTO, they're aware of it, and they said they're going to fix that tonight. So use extra caution in the meantime. Looks like delays have eased off eastbound 401 on the ramp to Markham Road, so that construction is likely wrapped up now. Southbound Markham Road approaching Progress. Southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, that's busy from south of Finch onto the 401 ramps. Good drive though on the southbound DVP. Westbound on the Gardner, that's filling in from west of Jarvis to west of Strawn. Good drive though on the westbound QEW through Mississauga, Oakville, and Burlington. Eastbound side of the QEW, not spotting any problems, and the eastbound Gardner looks good into downtown. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, a bit of a delay through Bloor, and then it's still going again from Don Mills to north of Lawrence. And northbound 400, you'll find the eastbound Teston ramp to northbound 400 closed. That's for construction. MTO also reporting the West Mall Evans Avenue ramp to the westbound QEW. That's shut down for construction. Find everything you need for the holidays at Marquee Jewelers. The super sale continues on all rings, bracelets, chains, and more. Don't miss out. 2 Bloor Street West at Yonge. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
-1 now at Pearson, mostly cloudy skies. We've got a gusty wind out of the west-northwest and a wind chill of -8. Temperatures just continue to fall, and by tonight, -6. Be on the lookout for scattered snow flurries and snow squall activity for the GTA and the Snowbelt region for the rest of this afternoon and evening. Tomorrow, highs only near -5. We have a chance of flurries through the day tomorrow, but a better chance tomorrow night to see some accumulating flurry activity as we fall to lows near -9. Your guaranteed high today reached early this morning, 10 degrees.
680 News Time, 2:13.
Time now for the Scotia iTrade Market Minute. Let's check into the business center. How are things looking, Chris?
Well, we've got a mixed picture yet again, although a bit of a change. We were seeing a modest pullback on the Dow. It's now higher by 16 points. The S&P, though, is down a point. The Nasdaq up by 11, and the TSX is now higher by 15 points, 16,965. A lot of fluctuation today with a lot still to come this week. We've got a Fed meeting and interest rate announcement tomorrow. U.S.-China trade, there are still questions around that. And then, of course, this election in Britain on Thursday. Gold right now up by $3, $14.68. Oil is higher by 20 cents, $59.22. And the Canadian dollar up by 6/100, 75.59 cents U.S. A somewhat muted reaction to word that NAFTA or USMCA is nearing the finish line, finally, although many did expect this eventually would get done. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Direct invest with Scotia iTrade. Get up to $1,500 cash and $6.99 pricing, or up to 500 free equity trades. Details at scotiaitrade.com/winter20. Whitecap Canada reminds you that it's not always obvious when young people need help. Since 1989, Kids Help Phone has shown up for youth with free 24/7 support.
1 digit off from the number for Staples.
By supporting Kids Help Phone this holiday season, you can help make sure.
The one is 6888, the other one's 6868. I wonder if Staples has a policy. If they get kids to call up asking for help, just listen to them or something. Ontario seeks to appeal ruling that overturned student fee policy. These bastards are so fucking chintzy, they're appealing it. Ontario is seeking to appeal a court ruling that struck down its directive making some post-secondary... Okay, now I'm getting confused. Appeal the ruling that struck down its... There's no apostrophe there either. Its directive making some post-secondary student fees optional. Training Colleges and Universities Minister Ross Romano says the government wants to make education affordable for all students. The Ontario Divisional Court said the so-called Student Choice Initiative interferes with the functions and independence of universities and college campus organizations. Okay. I'm getting fucking confused because this has been going to the courts and shit. Campus organizations such as student unions, newspapers, and radio stations, food banks, and LGBTQ. Q means questioning. That's not a fucking sexual orientation. It shouldn't be in there. Support centers have had to lay off staff or reduce services because they received less funding this year due to the opt-out provisions. Where's the 2S that's supposed to be there? Ryerson University's campus newspaper, The Eye Opener, said nearly 56% of full-time students chose not to pay the $5.65 to help fund it. Well, I wouldn't either. Why the fuck would I want to pay for your newspaper? I mandatorily have to pay for their newspaper that's competing with my news. The Student Choice Initiative was announced in January at the same time as a 10% cut to tuition and a cutback on the Ontario Student Assistance Fund. So I'm confused which side. The government wants to, I don't know who's saying what. They want to make these fees mandatory again, which is ridiculous. I have to mandatorily pay for something I'm not even going to use and is competing with me. And I have to borrow the money to go, and if you don't pay that loan, even if you declare bankruptcy, you still owe it. Fuck that. You're not getting $5 out of me that I can't get back or run away from. That's fucking bullshit. This is a comment. This one I don't fully disagree with because I don't know which side they're taking. There are definitely some clubs, left and right, with Nazi-like tendencies, and my college-age kids definitely went in and deselected funding for those. Well, obviously they're college age. They're in college, right?
On the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio, Sportsnet 590 The Fan. I was hungry and you gave me something.
Yeah, the police did this. The police cut this up. That's why I rock this shit. So you make a comment. It's always the cops. Always white cops make comments about my clothes. It's like, you stole my shit. You cut my shit up, and now you're gonna make fun of me for it? Nah, man.
$4.25 per person, and ensure that everyone who comes to the Scott Mission is warmly welcomed by people who care. Make your gift online today at scottmission.com or call 416-923-2400.
Every Volvo is thoughtfully made with you and your family in mind. Designed to spoil with unprecedented luxury and Scandinavian craftsmanship. And with legendary safety features that come standard, you can help protect what matters most. The Volvo Family Event is the perfect time to get the vehicle your family deserves. Lease or finance at 2.9% and receive a holiday bonus of up to $4,000 on select models. Visit your GTA Volvo retailer or volvocars.ca.
680 News Time.
Peel police have made 2 arrests in the murder of a 26-year-old man from Stouffville. Mario Ibrahim was gunned down in late October while sitting in a car outside a condo on Webb Drive near Confederation Parkway in Mississauga. A 24-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman, both from Mississauga, have now been charged with first-degree murder. Inspector Martin Ottaway says Ibrahim's death is linked to a previous shooting a couple of days earlier. He says they've seized a vehicle police think were used in at least 3 separate crimes.
Right back at you.
That time was a brown 2012 Infiniti IFX SUV, which investigators are confident was used in the homicide of Mary Ibrahim, and was believed to have been used in the attempted murder incident on the 401 on October 20th.
Now, police say they are looking for the third suspect, 34-year-old Justin Malcolm of Brampton. He is considered armed and dangerous. You can check out his photo on the Peel Police website. It has been a busy year for CanCon when it comes to social media. Twitter is now out with its list of most popular hashtags. The most mentioned one of the year by Canadians was Canadian Polly, which also comes as no surprise with the federal election happening in October. The most used hashtag? Hashtag Toronto. The most mentioned musician's Twitter account belongs to Pickering pop star Shawn Mendes. And Bianca Andreescu was the top athlete, while Ryan Reynolds, the top Canadian actor. It's the third time in 4 years that he has come out on top. Coming up in 60 seconds, we have got Carrie Prunskis standing by with the latest in traffic.
680 News Time, 2:20.
Discount travel sites say they have the best prices, but Hilton.com has the price match guarantee. Look me in the eye. If you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off. Yeah, well, this is radio, so just stare at the radio. Hilton.com has the best prices. Pinky swear. Or, radio swear. Plus, you could choose your exact room and get free Wi-Fi. Cross my heart, stick a needle in my radio. Expect better. Expect Hilton.
Must be a Hilton Honors member. Ethical terms and conditions at Hilton.com. Pinky swear.
Rexall can help with holiday parties. Look at you go. Well, this Beauty Thursday is so super, I can earn a super 200 bonus air miles just for stocking up on everything I need for my holiday parties. Got my shivery eyes, my statement lips, my go-to perfume. Holiday parties? When did my mom become more popular than me? I can't help that I've gotten more charming with age. This Beauty Thursday at Rexall.
The Canadian Lord's Day Association. I'll get into these some other
$75 or
time.
more on skincare, cosmetics, hair care, and fragrances. Visit Rexall.ca for details. 680 News Time, 2:21.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Don Valley North Lexus. We have a new problem northbound on the DVP at Bloor. The left lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. Thanks to traffic spotters for the heads up. And the northbound DVP, it did not take long for that backup to build. From just north of the Gardner up to Bloor, it's getting really jammed through that stretch. It's made things a little bit lighter north of Don Mills. So it slows again just north of Don Mills to north of Lawrence. Northbound 400, this construction at Teston, the right lane is closed. It's emergency construction, and that backup starts northbound 400 as you're approaching Teston. Also, the eastbound Teston ramp to the northbound 400, that's closed. All is part
So they're
of
not
that
going to patch
project.
that pothole when
Westbound
it's
on the 401,
2
that's
degrees.
getting
They're going to
busy
patch it
west
when
of
it's
the
minus
404 to
10.
Avenue Road, alternately express and collectors. Another delay from Dixie and the express to Mavis. We had some earlier problems approaching here, Ontario on the express. Eastbound 401, that's backed up from Winston Churchill to here, Ontario. But across the city, I'm not really spotting any delays. Just watch out for this pothole that was reported eastbound 401 approaching Leslie in the express. It's affecting the right lane. Southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, that's slow approaching Shepherd onto the 401 ramps. Westbound on the Gardner is filling in from Jarvis to west of Strawn, and it's still lightly traveled on the westbound QEW. Just bear in mind that there's no access to that route from the West Mall or from Evans Avenue. That ramp to the westbound QEW is closed for construction. Last we heard from traffic spotters, westbound Finch approaching Jane, all lanes were blocked with a collision, causing a backup from just west of Sentinel, and westbound St. Clair is closed from Via Italia to Earls Court, that's west of Dufferin, and that's for a fire investigation. At Don Valley North Lexus,
That's where Earls Court is, in case you didn't know.
2020 Lexus RX 350 from just $248 bi-weekly for 40 months. Visit DonValleyNorthLexus.com for details. And now with the extended forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Well, we've tapped back into some winter weather, some colder air, really where we should be for this time of year, and even a little colder than that. It's only -1 at Pearson, a wind chill of -8. We were sitting at 10 degrees this morning. We've got a gusty wind out of the northwest and snow squall potential the rest of this afternoon and through the evening. Overnight flurries are still possible, -6. Chance of flurries through the day and night Wednesday. Highs only near -5. And then a bit more comfortable Thursday, sun and clouds near -2. Right now, downtown Toronto, it's +1. Your guaranteed high reached early this morning, 10 degrees.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we are following breaking news out of Jersey City, New Jersey, where they are dealing with a shooting situation there. We're hearing there may be multiple victims, including a police officer. The latest ahead at 2:30.
680 News Time, 2:23.
Vote for the toaster, vote for the cereal, vote for
What's Dad doing? Well, the BMO Cashback MasterCard gives him cashback on everything. So it's like BMO puts a bow on every purchase. Now, he's putting bows everywhere.
vote on your report card.
I got a D in science.
There's always next term. A bow in the blender, a bow in the...
When your credit card puts a bow on every purchase, that's the BMO effect. Get the BMO Cashback MasterCard with no annual fee and get 5% cashback for your first 3 months. Apply now. Terms and conditions apply. Visit BMO.com/cashback for details.
At 680 News,
We know weather.
And we guarantee it.
if we're off by more than 3 degrees, we'll announce a lucky winner of our growing cash jackpot.
Now, get more chances to win each month and vacation better with Sunwing.
Enter in December for your chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for 2 at the Grand Memories Splash in Punta Cana.
Located near Bavaro Beach with one of the largest water parks, you can enjoy excitement and relaxation with 24-hour room service and 7 enormous water slides.
The 680 News weather guarantee with Sunwing at the Grand Memories
Flash at 680news.com.
On the way in 1 minute, we've got a look at Christmas news on the 25s, and then at 1.
It just turned 25 now. No, these bastards, they're fucking with the business report to sneak shit in ahead of it.
Right now at Rogers.
The business report says 26, it comes up at 27.
When you activate 2 lines with the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10e on select 2-year plans.
They're not going to tell us nothing. It's still the middle of the fucking day, right? Wow. The trading day.
Perfect holiday photos with Samsung's Pro-Grade multi-camera and infinite data you can share when you get them both on a Rogers Infinite plan. Get twice the nice with Samsung BOGO during the Rock and Red event on now at Rogers.
It's Royal Lighting's once-a-year 12-page holiday flyer sale, loaded with massive savings on thousands of gorgeous styles of chandeliers, floor and table lamps, fixtures, sconces, pendants, and vanity lighting. Royal Lighting guarantees every flyer item in stock, ready to take home. Visit our showroom and shop our 12-page flyer now. Royal Lighting's professional staff will help you choose the perfect lighting style for your beautiful home. Royal Lighting, 1549 Avenue Road, north of Lawrence.
Time now for all Christmas news in the 25s, brought to you today by the Scott Mission. Well, great news if you haven't picked up any Christmas gifts yet, and you do want to snap up tickets for the Canadian debut of Hamilton. David Murray announcing today more tickets now available for the Broadway hit, and announcing that for every show there will be a lottery to win a $10 ticket as well. Hamilton running from February 11th to May 17th at the Ed Murrish Theater.
Christmas news at 25 minutes past every hour on 680.
It's 26 minutes past the hour now. What?
2:26.
According to the internet clock.
Business report. We're going to go live now to the Business Center with Chris McCusker. Chris, we've heard a lot about HBC, possible takeover, possible buyout, all kinds of things. What kind of impact is that having on shares right now in that company?
Well, the stock is down, but that's mostly because the retailer reported disappointing earnings, Steve. There was a third quarter loss of $226 million. Revenue edged lower compared to a year ago, and then comparable sales dropped by 1.7%. Now, this earnings report comes, as you just alluded to, as 2 different groups battle to take the retailer private with a hearing plan for tomorrow. So right now, shares in HBC up
They're
by
preparing
2%,
for the fall of the Canadian government or something.
TSX, though, clinging to a modest gain of 5 points. 16,955.
I saw the French coming
oil
off. I saw the Scottish, British.
We've got oil up 46
Canada,
cents,
this is new,
59.48 a barrel, and the Canadian dollar higher by 5/100, 75.58 cents US. Now we did hear today NAFTA is nearing the finish line, or I should say the new NAFTA, also known as USMCA, getting closer to being finalized. But just in the last couple minutes, we got word from Mitch McConnell, who says it doesn't look like the USMCA will get through the Senate before the end of the year. In the U.S., we have a lot of fluctuation today. There are reports the U.S. is looking at delaying the next round of tariffs on China, slated to go into effect on Sunday. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow says those tariffs are still on the table. And the last Fed meeting of the year is underway. No change expected in interest rates. Tomorrow, the Dow right now is up by 7, the S&P up by 2, and the NASDAQ higher by 6. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
The winter sales event is on at Mercedes-Benz Durham with exclusive offers on 2020 and remaining 2019 models. Financing from 0.9%, cash credits up to $20,000, and 3 payments waived on select models. And existing Mercedes-Benz customers receive up to an additional 2% lease or finance rate reduction. Mercedes-Benz Durham, 2019 Star Dealer, 20 minutes east of the DVP.
Part of the Zakin Auto Group.
I've been doing this for over 25 years, and every response is different. From Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, the high river floods in Alberta, the flooding at the forts in Winnipeg, to Ottawa, and then local responses. When people see the Red Shield, there's trust, but also the fact that we provide hope for them.
When disaster strikes, Major Roxina Hayden is there, because everyone needs an army.
Donate now at salvationarmy.ca or call 1-800-SAL-ARMY.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by Park and Fly. Start your trip at Park and Fly Valet, where you never have to worry about finding a parking spot. Just pull up, check in, and go. Park and Fly Valet. We park, you fly. Visit parkandfly.ca for details.
In Vancouver, some rain and 7 degrees. In the nation's capital, some sunshine and 6. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's overcast and a temperature of 2. The News Watch never stops. 680 News. We are live 24/7. I'm Steve Roberts. Have yourself a great afternoon. It's 2:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are split Jenna Dominzik and James Monroe. Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, the 10th of December.
Here's what's making news right now.
Heavy gunfire in Jersey City, where police are dealing with an active shooting.
Good Samaritans may have saved a senior's life.
The construction worker was holding her abdomen, her stomach.
She suffered multiple stab wounds at a home in Scarborough this morning.
Brampton High School remains evacuated after spray was released in the cafeteria.
With contract talks going nowhere, some public high school teachers are set to take part in another one-day strike tomorrow, but the education minister is imploring them not to do it.
More coaching news in the NHL. The Stars dismissing Jim Montgomery today. And can the Leafs make it 2 straight good showings? Sports at 45.
Market's little changed as the renegotiated NAFTA gets set to be signed. Dow's up 13, Looney higher, business at 56.
680 News Time, 2:31.
Traffic and weather together on the ones now. Here's Carrie Prentice.
This report is brought to you by PrudentFinancial.net. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway at Bloor, the left lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. Emergency crews just arrived on the scene. No tow truck yet from what I can see, but the northbound DVP, I can see that backup. It's awful. Jam solid from the Gardner up to Bloor. Once you're past that, the northbound DVP is slow going from Spanbridge to north of Lawrence, so it has made things a little bit lighter north of Don Mills. If you're traveling the westbound 401, that's busy from just past the 404, alternately express and collectors to Avenue Road, then delays into Mississauga, approaching here Ontario on the collectors to west of Mavis. Westbound on the 403, we have a new problem just before the ramp to the QEW. This is in Oakville, so the westbound 403, it's getting jammed up from Dundas to the QEW ramp, and it looks like that right lane is blocked with this collision. Emergency crews are on that scene. Eastbound on the 401, that's heavy from Winston Churchill to here Ontario. Across the city, a bit of a delay from Islington towards the 400. That's mainly in the Express. And watch out for a pothole as you're approaching Leslie in the Express in the right lane. No delay there. And if you're heading into the Durham region, it's still likely travel on the eastbound 401. Some good news in town. Westbound Finch approaching Jane. All lanes have reopened, as well as westbound St. Clair or west of Dufferin. All lanes getting through there. And just watch out for some construction on the northbound 400 at Teston. The right lane is closed. This is emergency construction, so there's a slowdown from Major Mackenzie, and the eastbound Teston ramp to the northbound 400 is closed. Need last minute money for the holidays? Lower credit score? Put the equity in your car or home to work for you and get a great rate on a same day loan. Go to PrudentFinancial.net. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Well, mostly cloudy and cold out there with a gusty wind out of the northwest. Still seeing some scattered flurries on the radar and likely seeing a bit of intensifying happening over the next couple of hours as we move through the evening drive home. Overnight tonight, some flurries are still in the forecast, and through the day tomorrow, more active weather. Highs only near -5 for Wednesday. It's -1 and mostly cloudy at Pearson Airport, a wind chill of -8. Your overnight low tonight, -6.
680 News Time, 2:33.
Breaking news from New Jersey, where police are dealing with an active shooting.
680 Charlene Close joins us live with what we know so far. Charlene.
James, police say 2 suspects were barricaded inside a convenience store in Jersey City's Greenville neighborhood. One officer was shot possibly in the head. A second was shot in the shoulder. The suspects got away. Police are looking for a man and a woman. 12 public schools in the neighborhood have been locked down. CNN's
the first place bad guys run to is a school,
what he knows so far.
The Hudson County Sheriff's Office saying that this is an active shooting, not an active shooter situation. So it sounds like this may have been something that police walked into, disrupted, and then shooting broke out.
CNN affiliates report that the shooting happened in the area of Martin Luther King Drive in Jersey City. That's across the Hudson from Manhattan. Several roads have been closed and schools have been locked down. Jersey City schools are on lockdown
due to police activity. That is what is being said on a Facebook post on the school district page. Reporting live, Charlene Close, 680 News. 680 News time 2:34. A stabbing in Scarborough has left one woman in hospital in critical condition. 680's Mark Douglas is at the senior pharmacy in Lawrence and joins us live with the latest on that. Mark.
So, Jenna, the senior woman was stabbed multiple times here at this house on Eleanor Avenue in Scarborough. The fact that she did not die right here on the front porch is most likely due to the intervention of some heroic Good Samaritans. Workers from 2 nearby construction crews rushed over to help.
The construction worker was holding her abdomen.
You have to know the difference between people that live in the neighborhood that are there at night and people that work in the neighborhood that are only there in the daytime.
The husband pinned in the driveway.
The Toronto Police Constable Alex Lee praising the workers for their heroism, but he also cautions that there's always the chance that heroes can easily become extra victims.
I applaud them and hats off to them for getting involved. But you do bring up a very, very important point, which is, you are potentially putting yourself in harm's way.
You're interjecting
the
that.
woman survived. She's still in critical condition.
They love doing that. Oh, you said this, so I'm going to say that. I never said
Constable
that.
Lee cannot confirm a husband-wife relationship between them, but that's what the neighbors have told us about this couple. Charges are pending, and they will include aggravated assault. At least that would change, of course, if the woman dies.
I get charged with assault for a weapon for not assaulting somebody. This guy stabs somebody, gets caught red-handed, he does not get charged with a weapon.
Instead of high school
The
for
fuck?
Hampton after a spray was released in the cafeteria. Emergency crews were called to Castlebrook Secondary around 12:45 today. The school's in the Gore Road and Castlemore Road area. 8 people have been taken to hospital with minor respiratory issues. 4 others treated at the scene. The Peel District School Board says its maintenance department is investigating. Also says families of any students receiving treatment are being contacted directly.
This is 680
That
News.
sort of
High school
implies
students
the maintenance
across the
department's
province could be in
responsible.
for another day off tomorrow as Ontario Public High School teachers get set to take part in another one-day walkout. 680's Moment Crush. She's at Queen's Park and joins us with the latest on the ongoing labor dispute.
Unless something dramatically changes today, at this time tomorrow, thousands of kids across the province will once again be missing a day of school, as some of the public high school teachers go on another one-day strike. But the TDSB, the only board affected here